Since the beginning of time, people have cursed on individuals they didn't like. The ancient Greeks and Romans inflicted all kind of odd maledictions. The Bible is full of curses, and they were widely used in the Middle Ages. In more modern times, unexplained occurrences in archaeology, sports, and entertainment have all been attributed to malicious finger-pointing. So, does the curse have any merit? Let's go and find out more about some of history's most peculiar curses. The Curse of Tutankhamun. The most well-known of the alleged mummy's curses happened after Tutankhamun's tomb was opened in 1923. 4 months after the discovery, Lord Carnarvon, who funded the dig, passed away. The lights in the hospital he was in went out when he passed away. Within a few years following their journey to the tomb, 3 further members of the expedition passed away. The Kennedy Curse. Since 1944, when Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. died in an aeroplane accident, tragedy has dogged the Kennedy family. The assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy are the most notorious. Several Kennedy descendants have also met tragic ends, including drug overdoses, skiing mishaps, and, in the case of JFK Jr., another plane catastrophe. The Superman Curse. One of the most successful movie series in movie history is the Superman series. The success of the part has not been without cost, as some actors have met terribly early deaths. In 1959, George Reeves, who portrayed Superman in the 1950s, committed suicide. Star of the 1970s and 1980s films Christopher Reeve was paralyzed in a horseback riding accident in 1985 and eventually died in 2004. In addition, Lee Quigley, who played Superman in the 1978 movie as a baby, passed away in 1991 at the age of 14 from solvent misuse. Margot Kidder and Richard Pryor, 2 more performers who appeared in Superman films, also passed away when they were still quite young. The 27 Club Curse. The 27 Club is an urban legend attached to popular musicians, actors, and other artists who died at the age of 27. Apparently cursed, victims include Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, and, most recently, Amy Winehouse. The Curse of Tippecanoe. In 1840, William Henry Harrison was chosen to be the country's 9th president, however, he passed away while in office the following year. Up until John F. Kennedy, the nation chose a president who would pass away in office every 20 years. Some people think this is because Harrison and future presidents were cursed by Shawnee Chief Tecumseh after they defeated him and his men at the Battle of Tippecanoe in 1811. Broken Mirror Curse. Ancient Rome is where the mirror curse first appeared. They thought that one's soul, as well as one's outward appearance, was reflected in a mirror. The soul, according to them, regenerates every 7 years. Therefore, shattering a mirror would shatter the soul and infuriate the gods. Pictured as a cracked wall mirror in Pompeii, Italy's Amorini Dorati, Golden Cupid's house. Roman curse tablets. The ancient Romans and Greeks used curse tablets, typically very thin sheets of lead, upon which were inscribed requests of assistance from the gods, or elicitations of help from the dead, to perform a curse on a person or object. The Curse of Hecate. Greek mythology's Hecate is a dual-natured goddess who can do both good and bad. A Spanish researcher found evidence in 2012 that 2 distinct curses involving snakes and directed at a senator and an animal doctor that were written on lead tablets 1,600 years ago include an image of Hecate with serpents coming out of her hair, possibly meant to strike at the victims. The Curse of Rosemary's Baby. The 1968 psychological horror film by Roman Polanski is regarded as the most cursed picture ever created. Many people involved in the production suffered tragedy and misfortune. Producer William Castle was hospitalized with severe kidney stones and was desperately ill for weeks. Composer Krzysztof Kmita died from a fall. Sharon Tate, Polanski's pregnant wife, was brutally murdered by members of the Manson family. The Curse of the Knights Templar. As Jacques de Molay, circa 1240–1314, burned at the stake, the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar cursed King Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V. Within a year, both had died in mysterious circumstances. The Curse of The Passion of the Christ. During the making of Mel Gibson's 2004 film, The Passion of the Christ, Jesus actor Jim Caviezel was struck by lightning while shooting the Sermon on the Mount scene. Immediately afterward, so was assistant director Jan Michelini. The double tap led many to believe a higher force had placed a curse on the production. The Curse of Cain. After Cain kills his brother Abel in the book of Genesis, God curses Cain, causing him to live a life of labor and traveling, and declares that any ground he tries to cultivate will remain fallow. The Curse of Macbeth. There has long been a myth in the theater world that Macbeth by William Shakespeare is cursed. In fact, actors are advised not to use the phrase, Macbeth, in any theater performance other than that of Shakespeare. Doing so would be unlucky for everyone involved in the project. The curse of the crashed Porsche. When driving his Porsche 550 Spyder, James Dean was killed. The rescued car debris is said to have later rolled off a recovery truck, breaking the legs of a mechanic. Then, the engine from the Porsche was installed in another vehicle, killing the driver. A curse or a Hollywood myth. The curse of Ham. Another curse out of the Bible comes from the story of Noah, who one afternoon got drunk after sipping wine and passed out naked in his tent. Noah's son Ham witnessed his father's nakedness and told his brother, Japheth. Later, sober and enraged, Noah cursed Ham's son Canaan and all his followers and descendants to be subjugated as slaves to the Israelites. The curse of the Björketorp runestone. One of Sweden's great mysteries surrounds a 6th century BCE monolith called the Björketorp runestone, which stands in Blekinge. Engraved upon one side is a short sentence that when translated reads as, "I see perdition." On the reverse is a longer line of text that indicates that anyone who disturbs or breaks the runestone will be cursed to insidious death and destruction. The evil eye. The evil eye is a look, or stare, that is believed to bring bad luck for the person at whom it is directed for reasons of envy or dislike. Its origins have been traced back to ancient Greece and Rome, exemplified by this 2nd century CE Roman mosaic representing the curse, that still exists today. The Bermuda Triangle Curse. When 5 Grumman TBM Avenger torpedo bombers inexplicably disappeared while flying over the Bermuda Triangle on December 5, 1945, a search airplane was sent out to look for the missing aircraft. It also vanished. In all, 27 aircrew were unaccounted for, presumed dead. Since then, numerous boats, ships, and aircraft have been reported missing. The Curse of the Iceman. In September 1991, the frozen corpse of a man estimated to have lived some time between 3350 and 3105 BCE was discovered in Europe's Ötztal Alps. Subsequently named Ötztal, or Ice Man, the Stone Age mummy was removed from the mountain for further analysis. To date, 7 scientists involved in the removal and examination of Ötzi have died, 4 of which have involved accidents. The more colorful of media reports attribute the deaths to an alleged curse, similar to that cast upon those disturbing the mummy of an ancient Egyptian. The Curse of La Llorona. The Curse of La Llorona has its roots in Spanish folklore. It surrounds a beautiful woman called Maria who marries a wealthy man, but only for his money. They have 2 children together. One day she sees her husband and their brood with another woman. Insane with jealousy and rage, she grabs her 2 children and throws them into the river and to their deaths, after which she drowns herself. But she's cursed to spend eternity haunting the banks of rivers and lakes searching for her dead offspring. Cursed dolls. Commonly associated with Haitian voodoo or Louisiana voodoo, but in fact not prominent in either, cursed dolls have their origins in ancient Rome, when miniature dolls were used as effigies of their targets to instill curses upon them. Dido's curse upon Troy. One of antiquity's most notorious curses was that leveled upon Aeneas, the son of the Trojan prince Anchises and the goddess Venus, by his once lover Dido, the queen of Carthage. Dido had suggested marriage to Aeneas so that they might rule the region together. However, the prince reneged on the agreement and left her. So enraged was the jilted queen that she pronounced a curse that Troy and Carthage would forever be enemies, which eventually led to the Punic Wars. The Curse of the Polish King's Tomb. In 1973, a team of archaeologists opened the tomb of the 15th century Polish King Casimir IV Jagiellon in Krakow, Poland. Shortly afterwards, several members of the group began to die, which immediately raised speculation that a curse similar to the one that befell the Tutankhamun expedition had been placed on the men. In fact, experts later discovered traces of a deadly fungi inside the tomb that when inhaled can inhibit breathing and cause lung illness. This what killed them. The Curse of Timur. Turco-Mongol conqueror Timur (1336–1405), also known as Tamerlane, established and led the powerful and feared Timurid Empire. Soviet leader Stalin modeled himself on Timur's accomplishments and in June 19, 1941 ordered the exhumation of his remains, ignoring warnings by locals that to do so would unleash a curse over the nation. 3 days later Adolf Hitler invaded the USSR, with millions dying as a result. God's Curse on the Serpent. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were told they could eat anything they wanted, except the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God later cursed the serpent, a symbol of the underworld, for life after tempting Eve with an apple. The Billy Goat Curse on the Chicago Cubs. Superstition runs rife in the world of sports. The Billy Goat Curse, for example, was a sports curse that was supposedly placed on the Chicago Cubs in 1945. Tavern owner William Sianis was allegedly prevented from bringing in his pet goat, Murphy, into Wrigley Field to see the Cubs play the Detroit Tigers. In rage, Sianis placed a curse on the club, uttering that they would never win another World Series. Not only were the Cubs defeated by their opponents in 1945, they never secured a World Series championship again until 2016. The Hope Diamond Curse. French gem merchant and traveler Jean-Baptiste Tavernier is famous for purchasing a huge diamond that he later sold to King Louis XIV of France in 1668. 2.5 centuries later, a story was circulating that Tavernier had stolen the diamond from the statue of a Hindu goddess and that it was cursed. Bad luck and misfortune would follow anybody who wore it. It ended up in the possession of Dutch collector Henry Philip Hope, hence its modern name, before being sold to Evelyn Walsh McLean 1886-1947. The precious stone eventually ended up in the Smithsonian Institution. Shiva's curse upon Brahma. There are few temples in the world dedicated to Hindu deity Lord Brahma. This is because a lie Brahma had told Shiva, another god and a member of a triad that also included Vishnu, claiming that it was he who was more powerful than Vishnu. Knowing this was untrue, Shiva cursed Brahma, forbidding anyone on earth to worship him. To this day there are no Hindu holidays celebrating Brahma. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe for more information. Please do support us.